day, my name is Angelo. This is Nation Voice Tower, your most preferred YouTube channel. It's been a time of chaos, very busy week for politicians. Lots of stories have been coming from the anti-graft agencies and stories that have tingled our ears, of course. But I told you that Nigeria is full of surprises. Nigeria is filled with politics of drama and sentiments, and we wouldn't stop bringing updates because it concerns us and people who live at home. Now, I want to say something. Betta Edu has been called out countless times this week because of her involvement in something bleak that happened in her ministry, embezzlement of some funds in the trenches of 500 million and some alleged laundering of funds in the range of 60 billion naira in a very short while. The recent one she was called out for was for some funds ranging to like 9 billion naira, over 9 billion naira, that made her get picked up by the anti-graft agency, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. She was subsequently suspended by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and right now she is undergoing questioning, although sources have revealed that she's out of detention, but that does not mean that the case is over. I think she should be charged to court anytime soon. Now, I stumbled over a particular file of the same Dr. Betta Edu, which makes me, now, before I go further, lots of people have come out, especially civil society organizations have come out to say Dr. Betta Edu is very innocent and should be pardoned and returned to her seat. In as much as I am no advocate of any corrupt leader being returned to his seat or ministerial position or appointment, or as the case may be, Dr. Betta Edu has been a seasonal money launderer. I will say this with no equivocation whatsoever. Dr. Betta Edu has been a money laundering thief for a very long while. Yes, now let me tell you why I've been saying this. I stumbled over a file where Dr. Betta Edu, as the then Commissioner of Health in Cross River State, allegedly made away with 400 million naira that was meant to cater for COVID-19 victims and less privileged Nigerians. Can you see that she did not start to lend her money today? That means the government knew about this and they still inculcated her into this new administration of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Kashim Shettima. Now, from my own point of view, or let me say from this particular expose and this document I have to share with you, Betta Edu was allegedly questioned for over 400 million naira that was missing in the funds that were given to her. Did you know that she kept these funds until after she left office as Commissioner for Health, and then she embezzled these funds to a personal account? One thing she did after embezzlement of these funds is what has kept my ears tingling till date. If you hear what Dr. Betta Edu did to her subordinates after embezzling 400 million naira, then you would ask the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to not only question her, but to incarcerate her for the next 50 years, if not for her lifetime. Please come with me as I expose the real Dr. Betta Edu right from her days as Commissioner of Health in Cross River State under the former Governor Ben Ayade. While hundreds were dying of the COVID-19 virus, Dr. Betta Edu, as Commissioner for Health for Cross River State, allegedly looted 400 million naira meant to provide vaccines for citizens. Through her personal assistant, one Pastor Igebu Duke, Dr. Edu kept the 400 million naira released to her in 2020 to fight the COVID-19 virus. Once she was done as Commissioner, Dr. Edu asked Pastor Duke to send the 400 million naira into an account, which seems to be a personal account linked to Dr. Betta Edu. Pastor Duke made two different transfers of the 400 million naira in two tranches. The first one was that of 200 million naira, and the second one was that of 150 million naira, and he allegedly kept 50 million naira as his own share of the loot. A greedy Dr. Betta Edu, who wanted the whole 400 million, pounced on Pastor Duke, got him detained for 42 days, accusing the pastor of stealing campaign funds. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the president, gave her for Cross River State women and allegedly called her out to be minister to represent the women of Cross River State. Meanwhile, the 400 million naira theft happened in 2020. Pastor Duke was released after the former Governor Ben Ayade intervened and got the matter resolved. Over time, Pastor Duke took Dr. Betta Edu to court for his illegal detention and violation of his rights. No explanations whatsoever were given by the then Commissioner of Health, Dr. Betta Edu, for the alleged illegal detention of her personal assistant. Neither did the court resolution bring any sort of solace to the former personal assistant, Pastor Duke. Right, sad days there for Dr. Duke, or Pastor Duke, let me say, who was the personal assistant to Dr. Betta Edu during her time as the Commissioner for Health in Cross River State. Why would you go further to incarcerate a young man that helped you lend them money? So where does that adage, a laborer is worthy of his wages, where does it stay in your mind? Are you so clueless that you actually went further to indict a man who helped you launder funds, put his name on the line, his job on the line, and risked his name and that of his family to help you steal 400 million naira? And here you are calling policemen for this particular man, calling him to go to jail. And from the documentary there, Dr. Betta Edu did not forgive this man until Dr. Ben Ayade, the then governor of Cross River State, or the governor of Cross River State, had to come into the matter. Okay, so what importance, what are you really portraying? Does it now outrightly mean that people under you cannot benefit from you, whether from your crooked ways or from your legal ways? Or from your legitimate ways? Maybe that was why she learned from her mistakes and decided to share some dollars in her office. Immediately she laundered the first 5 billion naira. You remember when there was a video that went viral about one of the workers from Dr. Betta Edu's office displaying some dollars and thanking or showing gratitude to her then principal, which was Dr. Betta Edu? So I don't know why she should go that far to incarcerate the young man, Pastor Duke, for helping her launder money just because he took away 50 million. So the thief doesn't want to be stolen from. Those who live by the sword are afraid to die by the sword. But I'm sorry, Dr. Betta Edu, this time around, you have met your nemesis, and I don't think she will get free. Even if she does, which is likely possible, it will be known throughout Nigeria and outside Nigeria that this woman was actually embedded in the high level of money laundering, corruption, and high-class theft from the government. Next on the list of my updates, it's jubilation everywhere in Kano State and Kano Municipal Council, to be very, very precise, as the Supreme Court returns Governor Abba Yusuf, also known as Abba Gida Gida, of the New Nigerian People's Party, as the governor of the state. Remember my expose, or remember my update of some many weeks ago? I told you that it's going to be very, very hard for the Supreme Court, which was led by the panel of the Supreme Court, was surprisingly led by Justice Okoro John Inyang, the same justice that couldn't deliver justice during the Presidential Elections Petitions Tribunal when taken to the Supreme Court. The same judge, surprisingly, delivered justice in the case of APC versus the NNPP, where Abba Yusuf, Governor Abba Yusuf rather, also known as Abba Gida Gida by the people of Kano State, as governor. Jubilation is everywhere. Please watch this video. When we come back, I'll tell you something so special about this particular case. Stay tuned. Yusuf, also known as Abba Gida Gida. I once told you that it's going to be very, very hard for the Supreme Court to oust or to unseat Abba Yusuf because of what? Because he's the choice of the people. I told you it's going to be very, very hard because obviously the people of Kano State voted for Abba Yusuf. Do you know why? We don't need to go to collation centers. We don't need to bring polling unit results. Neither do we need to call witnesses, all right, or even star witnesses. What we need to know is how can a minority party as minor as the New Nigerian People's Party unseat the majority All Progressive Congress in a state as large as Kano State? You should be able to know by common sense that Abba Yusuf is the man of the people. Well, Governor Mutswang of Plateau State has also been returned. Well, there is joy everywhere. And we hope that this time around he can be stable to wage the issue of insecurity in his state. Finally, there is an issue, I beg your pardon, there is an issue, or there are issues rather, that has actually eaten up the Central Bank of Nigeria. Hence the reason why Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the president of the country, asked an investigative accountant in the person of Jim Obaze to probe the activities of the CBN under the erstwhile CBN governor, Godwin Emefiele, and other affiliated parastatals like the FIRS and so on and so forth. All right. Now, after the investigation of Jim Obaze, there were found to be irreconcilable transactions that existed in the CBN, and this was the main concept behind the expose that brought about the indictment of Godwin Emefiele and other subordinate workers under him in the then CBN sector. Now, the CBN over time had experienced lots of issues, not just from the federal part of the country, but from states. Why? Because states in the country bank with the CBN too. They keep their funds with the CBN, all right? And since they keep their funds with the CBN, they experience lots of problems, especially when it comes to accountability. Now, I am of the opinion, the utmost and truthful opinion, that the Central Bank of Nigeria should stop commercial banks from holding all capital belonging to state governments. Imagine Keystone Bank, Union Bank, Zenith Bank holding funds for states. Sometime 2 weeks ago, or sometime this week, let me say, the Central Bank of Nigeria actually suspended the CEOs of few banks because of inconcurrent or because of unreconcilable transactions involving lots of state governments, all right? So, I believe that states should be of the opinion, or states should be allowed to bank with or to build a sort of microfinance bank so as to cater for not only the states but the welfare of the people. This, the emergence of microfinance banks will help in not only curbing money laundering and corruption, but it's going to help in quick money circulation, and it's going to also bring about quick and, let me say, enormous accountability. All right. Now, I have somebody in an interview who shares the same view with me. Mr. Nnemeka Obereri is a development economist and an investment banking executive. He has lots of things to say as a professional in this field.
You know, one of the greatest, see, if we want to fight corruption in this country, if we want to ensure financial sector stability, you know, I have always posited 50% of the demand pressure on the dollar in Nigeria is corruption driven. Corruption driven from the federal to the state and local government. Go and look at the records. You will see clearly. Once they collect their FAC, they collect their JAC, they collect their IGR through commercial banks, they move after BDCs. They either launder the monies through BDCs or they launder it through real estate. Central Bank of Nigeria, as bankers to governments, should be the only banker to state government and local government. In fact, the Central Bank should go along all the way to ban governments keeping their monies with commercial banks. Any government, Central Bank should be the one banking the monies for governments, both state, federal and local government. In the other way, they can go put the monies in NISA. Central Bank will have a watch over it. Or any state that does not want to go to NISA should have their own state microfinance bank that should warehouse their state FAC and JAC. And again, Central Bank of Nigeria should put a very wide eyes over it. Let me tell you, If the Central Bank of Nigeria want to fully ensure financial sector stability, a whole loads of work need to be done by Cardoso. Put an eye on all the banks that control the FAC, the JAC, and the IGRs. Look at the branches where they are warehouse. Look at their treasury. Trace the monies, track the monies. It is very shocking that in today's Nigeria, is over 28 million accounts do not have BVN, do not have NIN in them, which is very shocking. There is no account in Nigeria that should not have BVN, even TIN and NIN. In fact, central banks should even go the hog. Any bank where there is a trace of any account that does not have BVN, NIN and TIN, the MD should be removed.
The banking sector has been spoken of, and Nemeka Obereri, with his wide range of knowledge and his expertise, has given more explanations than I gave on that particular issue there. All right. Now, if the central bank is let's say is eased of lots of work by allowing state governments to, let's say, raise a sort of microfinance bank for quick availability of funds and lesser cases of corrupt practices, then I think the CBN will be able to work quicker and to work better and more efficiently. All right. I wouldn't say much on this. I think this should go straight to the ears of Olayemi Cardoso, who is now the CBN governor. He needs to hear this from Nemeka Obereri, so as to enable him have a very wide range of options when it comes to tinker the policies of the Central Bank of Nigeria. Thank you so much for staying this far. Please like our videos, share them. Don't forget to drop a comment for us in the comment section. We need these comments coming because we need them to grow and go higher to serve you better. See you next time. From me, bye.